welcome y'all to Backwoods Obscura, a podcast dedicated to the lore, legends, and myths surrounding the creatures that may lurk in your backyard. My name's Hewitt.
I'm Chris. How you doing, man?
I'm actually doing pretty good. How about yourself?
It's been hectic the last couple of weeks. At the same time, I decided to start upping my exercise and diet.
That's good.
Which is good. Like, I kind of fell off since... Like, this is the least bad I fell off on my diet in years. Usually, you know, around holiday times, you fall off and then you...
Tell me about it. I'm home for the summer and I'm not moving as much as I normally do. Yeah. So I put on about 3 pounds.
Like, this time, I went from, like, 215 to 220. Or no, 210 to 220.
Okay, I was going to say 5 pounds isn't that bad, but...
Like 10 usually it's like 20, 30 pounds.
But the problem I have is as heavy as I am, like 3 to 5 pounds is really hard to notice, and then all of a sudden it's 10 pounds, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
So
that's usually how it is.
I mean, all I'm really doing is picking up a kid from summer camp, taking care of a baby, and this week I read close to 400 pages and wrote over 10.
Nice.
No.
I mean, like, nice in the sense you've accomplished things.
I guess so. I did get it done. Luckily, I married an English major, so she will fix my...
Just go back there.
She's going to look at my grammar and just start shaking her head.
Yeah, I've been running, like when I say running, I go after work and I do some, like, light running. I don't usually do, like, hard cardio because I don't want to, like, blow out my knees or anything, but I've been doing some light cardio 5 days a week. I've been exercising, like, weight training 3 days a week, and you know, I've been doing other things like playing guitar, trying to, like, really hone in, like, on some of my hobbies. Like, I'm kind of taking inspiration from you a bit because I know when it comes to, like, things you're interested in, you just dive in.
It's the only way I know how to do it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my that itch to create or make right now has been a little tough because...
Well, you have kids, but...
My daughter is cutting not 3, not 4, 5 teeth right now, and that means she goes from perfectly fine to...
Very mad.
To fuss bucket. But, hey, so we're not... The time of recording is just before the 4th of July, our nation's birthday.
Yeah.
We're probably not going to record again until after it because of a couple summer trips and some vacations. But I got us both a present.
My goodness.
I got us both a present, and I'm going to let you, I'm going to give you this one because...
Oh my God. I didn't I thought he was, like, taking the reign. Oh my goodness. What is it?
It is, I got us both a Bigfoot smoking a cigar, wearing American flag hats.
Oh my God. I love this.
It's faux stained glass.
I'm going to hang this up in my office. Thank you, Hewitt.
I got us, I couldn't pick which one to get you, so I got both and figured one of us would keep the other. I'm also real quick looking at this one to make sure there's not a cannabis leaf on it anywhere. I
mean, if it has a cannabis leaf, I'll take it.
Well, that's what I'm saying is I'm trying to make sure, because if it has a cannabis leaf on it, I'm going to hand it to it, because the one you have, his cigar is a little bit skinnier, a little bit more...
Yeah, it looks more like something Snoop Dogg would have.
Yeah, but...
no, he actually looks like he's in New York City, or maybe Philadelphia. They kind of look the same to me. But yeah, no, this is awesome.
I think he's in front of the White House on mine.
Is he in front of the White House? Let me see that.
It looks kind of like the White House.
He's in front of the fucking White House.
Oh no, this is New York.
Like, he is definitely in front of the White House. You have, like, what looks like buds, but it looks like hops. It doesn't look like...
It's not weed. It's a decorative flower. Again, Temu, $1 a piece.
Hey, I'll take it.
I was going to put it up in the window of my shed, but that's been covered up because it got knocked out.
Thank you. You literally gave me the patriotic skunk ape right here.
I did. It's just they're too funny to pass up. Like They had a couple with Mothman, but they weren't as luscious as I would want them to be.
I mean, if you're going to get something Mothman related, you either have to get like the original like weird picture, or you got to get the one with the luscious cheeks.
Yep. Which, by the way, people are getting in trouble for stuffing dollar bills between the cheeks now.
Yeah.
Like, here's the deal.
The age of TikTok, people
the cheeks are big enough that they can hold quarters above them at the crack, but now people are sticking singles into Mothman's crack.
God damn. I mean, I've seen the statue, and that is definitely on my bucket list of places to go.
Is the Mothman's peach.
It's not even like, Point Pleasant, West Virginia, where, I get to learn about the lore of the Mothman. I just want to see the statue ass.
True. But we might have a road trip here soon to... we actually might have a couple road trips before summer's over, though.
Yeah, I'm hoping to... Like you were talking about potentially going to CrossFit.
Yeah, CrossFit would be an easy drive. We also found the Toledo Bend campgrounds, which is only a little bit north of DeRidder. So we could technically go camp. And Toledo Lake has bass and a good number of brim. So you could get your fishing in. Or we could, get a hotel in DeRidder and go to the Hanging Jail on Friday because they have it at one. They have a tour at 1 and 3 on Fridays.
Shit, we're probably going to end up camping because I want to fish and I also want to go to DeRidder Hanging Jail. Oh no, this episode has already gone off the rails.
No, it's not that bad. We got a little bit of stuff out the way.
And presents. And presents. Seriously though, thank you. I'm like literally going to hang this up when I get home.
Ruby's going to stare at you so hard. No, you should hang it in that fake window between your kitchen and the great room.
Just
put a little hook in the top of it and hang it there so that
everyone's like, what the is that like Bigfoot smoking a joint? I'm like, no, that's the skunk ape
smoking
living
cigar.
Up to his fucking name. But yeah, okay. So I have been busy this week. I've been busy last week. We've been unusually busy, and
it has been a busy start to summer. In fact, Monday, I'm doing testing at the school.
Yeah, we've had a lot of cases come in, and it's not even like, easy cases. I mean, I guess I'm revealing this. I'm a dental technician, and I make teeth for a living. We're having like these big complicated cases come in where, people need reconstructive care done. Mm-hmm. And it's just been piled on the other, like, it's one of those things where life is just like, oh, you're trying to do something. It's time for you to really try to do something. It's not like I'm complaining. I'm in a good spot in my life, but it's also kind of like, woo, trying to keep up with things. Which is why, like, this episode is going to be kind of a light episode, but I kind of wanted to break into something we haven't done before. So, what do you know about Sinkhole Sam?
Nothing.
You don't know anything about Sinkhole Sam?
No.
Nothing.
Cartoon character?
No.
Cousin of Yosemite?
No. Actually, it is a... Well, okay, so we haven't done a water creature yet. So we haven't done...
Well, no. We've done the Yazoo mermaid.
Well, I'm talking about, like, a proper, like, creature that is, like... Like, the mermaid is more like a, I wouldn't call it, like, a cryptid. I would call it... I don't know what I would call it.
I would stick mermaids well into the creatures of cryptids, because, I mean, we even stick things like griffins in the cryptids.
That's fair. So the Sinkhole Sam is actually a worm-like creature from Inman, Kansas. Inman, Inman. What a name!
Spell that for me again.
Inman.
Enum.
Okay, thank you.
That's how I'm going to say it.
Enum. I mean, that's like the southern way to say it. It's like, how do you spell Natchitoches?
A lot of letters.
A lot of letters. You don't hear them.
You switch one of them around, you get Nacogdoches in Texas.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. We just say Natchitoches. It's sometimes described as a snake or serpent-like creature, but from what I saw, a lot of it is like worm-like. The creature is said to be about 15 feet long and the diameter of a car tire. So...
That's a big worm.
That's a big worm. It has also been said to have a strange smile. Like, okay, so if you've ever seen... You've seen Beetlejuice or Tremors. Something like that.
Okay, so it's supposed to be like a sandworm or like...
Yeah. The only thing is, the reason why I say we haven't dove into something like this is it is a lake creature. It's not technically like a sandworm sort of deal. It lives in a lake.
So not a graboid or an ass blaster, just a...
Yeah, no, it's not a graboid or ass blaster. It's a... It is a giant worm that apparently lives in a lake. It's said to live in a lake called It's called Big Sinkhole. It is a lake in Inham, Kansas. And the way this lake came about was like back before people colonized this area. There was like a bunch of areas in Kansas that were lakes and streams and everything. But as people came in, irrigation and people draining the lakes have caused it to recede. So you only have...
So practicing just non-conservative farming methods and...
Yeah. Very little conservation happened. So what happened is there is Inham Lake, which is the largest natural lake in Kansas. And then you have like all these little like pots of water called sinkholes. And the biggest one is called Big Sinkhole.
That is a very original name, Kansas.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, we're just going to call this Big Sinkhole Lake. It's like, there you go. Like, oh, but here's the thing. I give them, I don't hate on them for it because, like, some of the coolest places are just, like, places people are like, yeah, that's Rock Lake because there's a big rock next to the lake. And it's most often... because people always go... Like, we used to go to a place called The Maze.
True.
And it was a place for where gray water was released into the river. Quotes around gray water. And it was just... It had, like, this setup so it just doesn't blast into the river.
Right.
I kind of, like, think of it like that. It's like people's like, sinkhole. That's a sinkhole now. And then... someone comes around, it's like, this is Big Sinkhole. Now, here's the thing. There isn't a lot of, like, sightings on this. And I actually kind of feel bad because the last couple I've done haven't been, like, really big ones. And I promise the next one I'm going to do is huge.
It's going to be Bigfoot now.
It's going to be, like, 3 different Bigfoots all in a row.
We'll release that one actually on 4th of July, the most American cryptid, the Bigfoot.
Okay, so... some of the first sightings was in the 1920s, actually.
Okay, so relatively more recent.
Relatively more recent. I mean, here's the thing. When you're talking about, like, serpent-like creatures or worm-like creatures, and you could use the WORM or the Y version of that, Native American lore has things like that. We talked about the Bayou Teche monster, which was... killed by the Native Americans of Louisiana and created the Bayou Teche. But this was first seen in 1920, supposedly. There isn't much on this. The people that saw it were unidentified, and they just said, oh, this is it looks like a giant snake or a giant serpent. And you had to jump like decades into the 1950s
before there's another sighting.
Yeah. And this is when we get to some Mennonites who saw it. Albert
that gives some validity then. The Mennonites are not a group of folks known for lying.
And it's Albert Newfield and George Rager. They happened upon what they said was a large snake in the river. Albert, in a bid to save the city, he decided to shoot at the monster with his rifle. Didn't hit it. Apparently it was too far away. You know, that's how it goes. And that's about all that you hear. Now, it's one of those where it's like, there are sightings. Are you okay?
Yeah, I was actually looking, and like online, there's the cryptid wiki and a newspaper.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a word that someone created connected to this story.
What is that?
I'll bring it up when it comes into play.
Okay,
you
so
might actually mention it.
getting back on track. I'm sorry, future Chris. Like, I actually did not read a lot of sightings about this. It was just like there were sightings, you know? It's one of those, people saw it, but there isn't like, it's not like black-eyed kids or Bigfoot or anything like that.
It's kind of, it sounds a lot like the like local cryptid, local urban legend of like somebody's uncle reported seeing this thing.
Yeah, it's exactly like that, where you hear about people seeing it, but you don't hear about the accounts. But recently there hasn't been any accounts. Mostly because I think that this is a lake. I mean, one, I don't know how real this actually is. I mean, I'm going to be honest, but I think the other thing is, like, it's in the middle of nowhere. Like, I actually looked this up on Google Maps, and it's literally in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. And Kansas is already kind of like flyover country. I know Superman is like big, and like they put Metropolis in Kansas sometimes. It's like, that's not realistic. Kansas is not going to have fucking Metropolis. Metropolis is based off of New York City. They only did that because they needed somewhere in Smallville for fucking Clark Kent to go to. Anyway, I'm ranting. But yeah, the timeline for this seems to be like 1900s, 1960s sort of deal. Now, what is the creature?
Neil.
It could be an eel.
So, like, if it's in the water and it's like, okay, the size is off, but like, Kansas is not too. I don't know exactly where Inman is at on the map, northeast west, but I know that the Missouri River goes to that area, and there used to be sturgeons and I think freshwater eels up that way. I could be wrong on that. So yeah,
there could be like someone saw a large eel or something like that and mistook the size, because I mean the human brain is very good at like misinterpreting things.
Also, if it was like a snake and someone freaked out, you don't want to say you freaked over a little snake. It's got to be like an 8-foot.
It's like, I saw a giant snake in there, and someone's like, Bill, it was only like 5 feet long. Actually, 5 feet long is a big ass snake.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah. Like a 5-foot moccasin slithered up in my yard. I'm like, well, I got to kill you now.
If a 5-foot moccasin slithered in my yard, I'm closing the door and
it's his
calling
yard now.
the police.
It's his yard now.
It's his yard. Because that's not only... I mean, okay, a 5-foot moccasin is going to be the diameter of a fucking tire. Let's be real here.
It won't be that big around, but...
It's going to be fat. It's going to be a big boy.
It's going to be thick.
But, yeah. No.
Wait, if it was 5 foot the length, if it was 5 foot in the width of a tire, that is the fattest. That snake's like, put me out of my misery, please.
But yeah, so like the biggest thing, the only thing I actually see is that it's a prehistoric creature that potentially either lived in an aquifer or something like that, or like when they drained everything, it migrated to the big sinkhole. There isn't anything else. You don't hear anything about aliens, demons, monsters.
I pulled up a news article here to see if we could add anything. Apparently, they brought in some great scientific minds. Ernest Dewey and his assistant, Dr. Erasmus P. Quattlebaum. The two informed everybody that Sam was called a Foopengurkel, one of the most extinctest species in all of Kansas, and that it definitely has to be a Sam, not a Samantha, because there were no records of any female Foopengurkels ever existing.
Wait, where did you find that at?
Heypost.com.
I didn't even see that one. Which, by the way, Cryptid Wiki, the Rural Messenger, and North American Cryptid, and what was the other one? It was a community college. Hutchinson Collagen. Collagen? What? The Hutchinson College.
Yeah, and like you said, the earliest records of this thing ever popping up is the 1920s. Like,
yeah, it's one of those things where I think it popped up. It's like Champ or the Loch Ness Monster, where it's fairly recent. And
someone made a Yu-Gi-Oh card of him.
Really?
Yeah. Looks like the sandworms from Beetlejuice.
Yeah, that's just the sandworm from Beetlejuice. So Sinkhole Sam is the sandworm from Beetlejuice. I was right in my assessment. I actually didn't see anyone say that the sandworm from Beetlejuice was Sinkhole Sam. It's just the first thing that came to mind when they described it. But I think it was like the college that said that it was that referenced Tremors. So I decided to add that. Just throw that in.
Yeah, it's another website says most folks think it might be a freshwater eel that's just been misidentified and people exaggerated.
Yeah. I would say that's like 90% of cryptids. Like when we talk about Bigfoot, it's like 90% of the time it's probably a bear.
Yeah, I would say that. However, I still hold out that 10% that Bigfoot's real.
Yeah, look. Of all the creatures,
to get a stained glass window up.
You get a stained glass window up, smoking a big fat doobie. It's fucking my man Bigfoot, or the skunk ape, or Falk monster, or whatever we want to use. But yeah, that's Sinkhole Sam for you.
That's kind of neat. I like it. It's a fun little story.
Yeah. It's not a big story, but I like these little legends that just kind of crop up.
Yeah, I also like that I now know the word Foopengurkle.
Foopengurkle is a really neat name. But yeah, we are Backwoods Obscura. We release every Tuesday. We are on all podcatchers, hopefully on Apple soon. You can also catch us on social media. We are on Threads. We are on, hopefully, Twitter soon. And we are on Facebook. And we are also Team Bonus Action.
Yeah, Team Bonus Action is a charity tabletop group that occasionally plays video games and had podcasts talking about goofy stuff. You can find us at teambonusaction.com on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and YouTube. We are Team Bonus Action. We should have some more videos updating onto YouTube soon. We usually play every Monday, alternating Wednesday and Sundays. You can also find us on the hellscape that is Twitter with bonus_team. And currently, the charity that we are partnered with through the end of July is going to be St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So if you can donate, please do, because we should all be trying to end childhood cancer.
Yeah. And with that, I hope you have a good day or night or whatever time it is.
Hey, wash your Foopengurkle.
Wash your Foopengurkle. It gets dirty down there.